Why, hello, my lovely vigilant owls. How I missed y'all. I'm back. I don't want to get it drawn out. I'm working on not doing such long-winded things, just to get right into it. So I was meditating on what video I wanted to welcome the owls back in. The nest is officially open. And I got a question of where do I go from here? And I wasn't asking that myself. That question popped up in my head. I feel as though someone was asking that. So, what I'm going to be doing is I want the vigilant owls to get an owl, whether that's a doll owl, a picture of an owl. Heck, if you're working with the deity that already has an owl, that's even better. What I want owls to start doing is meditating and having an owl that they talk to, that they ask questions for. So this way, I can go into the astral and get a question that an owl is having, and I can turn it into a video. Because I feel as though a lot of the individuals that listen to me, that I reach out to, that come talk to me, etc., they say my shadow reading especially is really unique. So I feel as though people are not able to articulate the specific questions they have around these type of shadow work readings. So I feel as though creating an entity in the astral where you'd go talk to an owl will help other owls that are having trouble articulating their questions. I'll be able to answer it here in the physical. So yes. Bonus points if you get an owl and you post it in the Vigilant Owl group, if you're in the Facebook group. If you're not, it's in the description below, I believe. I'll have to recheck it. Anyway, let us begin, yes? So the question I got was, where do I go from here? I don't know who it was from, who needs it, but hopefully this does resonate with you. And I'm going to be doing my traditional shadow work spread for this as well, with an extra advice card. So let us begin, yes? Also, we are out of Venus retrograde. It is Mercury retrograde. I don't know if it's starting or ending. Something's happening on February 3rd where it's either starting or ending, and it's in Aquarius. So just be mindful of the thoughts you are having, because they could hold a lot of gems and gold. And it is new moon in Aquarius, so that is double air energy. So pay very close attention to your thoughts and suggestions that come from the physical as well, because you are going to be really susceptible to any psychic or mental attacks as well at this time. Just letting y'all know. All right, let's start. We have the Three of Pentacles. Someone's worried about work, career, and wondering where they go from here. I know a lot of people have been getting pushed out of the 3D expectations of work, vacation, you know, the traditional college work routine that a lot of people have been under in society. A lot of people have been wondering, where do they go from here? And also a lot of spiritual individuals I know have been getting suddenly pushed to have their own businesses, like craft their own path to their own happiness and stop going by an artificial version of happiness that you were taught and programmed and basically beat into having. You're going to have to follow your heart in this instance. And when I say your heart, that doesn't mean your emotions. A lot of times, because emotions are fleeting, honestly. That's why a lot of the times when you get into the shadow work, you don't just go off of your emotions. You have to also be aligned with your thoughts and in tuned with your body, so that you are aware that it's just not coming from an emotional place. You can't get your answers from one source within you. Yes, you always have to go within of yourself, but that's always not a one road. You know, once you go into yourself, you're not automatically going to pull the answers out. Usually you end up going through a whole bunch of, like, for instance, if you end up meditating, if that's how you get your answers, it's not just that you close your eyes and the answer's on your eyelids. Suddenly you get pictures, you get memories, your senses flare up. You smell something, then that takes you into a hyper focus, and then that's when you slowly get your answer. It's not a suddenly I get this now. So that is where I feel as though a lot of people are getting stuck when it goes from where do I go from here. It's a trust the process situation right now, and I know I hear the groans, but this is part of, I don't want to say it's a test, it's your starting point. There's no more test anymore. This is your starting point. Either you're ready to go or you don't go. We have completion and perception. Your sacral and your heart. Like I said, where you go from here, your sacral and your heart. Where is your heart focusing at? Where is your heart's perspective at? Imagine the space you're in right now, exactly where you're at. Not your humanity fears, not what's going to happen tomorrow. Imagine where you are in this current place and time. Now imagine where you were when you're a child. When you were sitting in school, zoning out, not really paying attention to the teacher, wondering when you're going to grow up. That place. And you're going to see, holy shit, I have come a long way. You ever zoned out when you were a kid, wondering, what's going to happen when I'm an adult? And when you're an adult, when you're your big age that you are now, you never have those moments where you really sit and reflect at where you're currently at. Not what your brain's telling you you're at. Not, I got to pay these bills. My bank account is here. Where is your energy at? And when you finally sit there and really settle in from when you were a kid, just sitting there in the classroom, and possibly you're sitting in your living room, don't have a distraction, you're just sitting there, and you really just take in the now of where you're at. It's very damn sobering, I might say. It's very sobering. That's when you take the time to really see your accomplishments. You really sit there. It's kind of like almost you're sitting there and experiencing all of your ego deaths at once, because there's nothing there to distract you. Not your phone, not your TV. I hope you understand what I'm saying. Where do you go from here is understanding what you completed so far in your perception right now. Do you need to change something? Is there something in your garden you need to add? Is there something in there you need to subtract? What are you possibly still holding on to? Maybe it's not always sadness when it comes to completion. It's always, maybe you were super excited about a game or a big achievement you had, and you didn't even get a chance to fully process it. Sometimes your trauma isn't something that you have to process. Sometimes it's your great accomplishments that you didn't even get to fully experience the joy of, because maybe you were, again, distracted, or maybe there were so many emotions you shut it out, because your body and your brain doesn't just shut out the traumatic stuff. It shuts out any emotion that's too big for you to control in that moment. So maybe those super happy moments, you had to shut it down because you couldn't find a proper way to react. So you just turned stone cold. Maybe you were super happy you got something you wanted for Christmas and you just didn't know how to express it. You also have to not let it go, but you also have to allow your body to go through those motions as well. You know, you don't just wallow in your sadness. Sometimes you could end up wallowing in positivity and not even notice it. Barbados. since we are in a very mental time, since it's the Aquarius energy, that balance between emotions and the mind, if you haven't already, make a playlist for yourself. Make a playlist for yourself. I know when I first started my Vigilant Owls group, I did tell all my owls to have certain music titles to their chakra system so they know what chakra is out of whack. Hopefully you guys kept that list and evolved it from there. But if you didn't, make a playlist for every chakra. Either the chakra, and you don't have to just make that playlist or make a playlist for the chakra that's underwhelmed or really damaged. Make one that's already balanced. Balance out that energy. We don't just have to focus on the traumatic or the gritty. You can also work on the brighter side as well. So if your strongest chakra is the solar plexus and that's what gets you through the day, make something that pumps you up when you're doing the darker work as well. Balance. Animal spirit. That's getting gazelle. Grace. Having a lot of grace with yourself, because especially with that question of where do I go from here, it holds a lot of weight of I'm in a hole. So have grace with yourself in this time. This is not a good time to beat yourself up really about anything. Not because things are out of your control or anything, but it's just more of accepting and understanding certain limitations here because we're in a body. I know a lot of the times when, especially my conscious owls, the ones that don't just come from spiritual work, the conscious owls, where we go, we're gods, we should be able to do everything, which is great and true in your mind. But if I go cut my finger, it's gonna still take a few hours to heal. It's not gonna be instantaneous like a movie. In your mind, yes, of course. But physically, it's still gonna take just a little bit of time. It could be rapid, but it's still going to take a little bit of time. So have grace with yourself in that aspect. That doesn't mean you drop the whole belief of you being gods and then you accepting limitations, and that puts weight off, limits on your magic. No, that means understanding in one certain perspective that you can have grace with yourself because you're still human down here. What's next? Messenger. Make the sacrifice. Ooh, this is a pretty card too. Look at this. Make the sacrifice. I feel as though there's a lot of habits that some people aren't really willing to take the step forward to change. Because you feel as though you don't have to change. Which is true. But, well, no, I don't want to say but. Change your perception on what change means to you. Because a lot of times we take change as a very personal thing, as though we're broken in some way, so we have to change. When realistically, us sacrificing, changing a particular behavior or thought process is what we need to change, not something that's inherently deep in our being that's personal to us. It's just more of a behavior thing than anything. So no, you're not broken and nothing's wrong with you. It feels more as though you're trading in one method for another method. That's all it really feels that it is. It's not that you're changing your entire personality or that you stop doing the things that you like to do. It's thus that you're changing how you go about it. Yeah. That's what it is. All right. Do I need to read any cards? Read any cards? Read any cards? No, I'll do Barbados and then I'll do Animal Spirit. I don't need that. Y'all don't need this meditation. Divination. Focus on closeness to the natural world and understanding plants and animals. Start recognizing patterns that you can pinpoint, is what I'm getting from this. You see how the 3 horns in the gun is almost like the horns are telling him what direction to point his gun for him to focus at. So take the time to really hyper focus on those little things. So when I said start listening to music, when you make that playlist for, say, your root chakra, and then a specific song you never heard of resonates with you and you start to really listen to the lyrics, that's where you can start your introspection. Don't just start your introspection with trauma. What made you the happiest? And just go from there. That was it. that was all they wanted me to say. It feels like a lot of people are struggling to get through the traumatic parts of them because they're so traumatic, which makes sense. So, what did Mary Poppins say? A little bit of sugar makes the medicine go down. Start with happy memories first. If you are a new owl in the shadow work. I feel like it's a mixed bag of new versus the ones that already been here. Isn't that usually how it goes? Where is Gazelle at? I'm sorry, I just be losing. Okay. Wait for it. There's Gazelle. There we go. Heightened awareness and vulnerability. The gazelle represents supreme grace with every move. This awe-inspiring beauty amidst sophistication and elegance. Gazelle personalities are often hyper-aware of their surroundings, bordering on hyper-vigilant. And this can inhibit them from enjoying the beauty they've spent so much effort cultivating. No more worrying about all those predators out there in the wild when this card appears. It's time to get back to the present moment. Sit down, find your breath, and acknowledge the bounty that surrounds you. Let it nourish your gentle spirit. When in balance, grace, perspective, artistic. When out of balance, food allergies, insomnia, racing mind. To bring into balance, yin, yoga, a cozy home, and good food. Go feed that inner child today. Make an inner child altar if you haven't. Honor yourself. I think that's one of the first things I said when I first started talking about shadow work. Build an altar to yourself. Don't just build one in Yemen, y'all. Don't just build one to Babaluaye. Don't just build one to your ancestors. Build one for you. Nourish yourself. Everyone else get an altar but you. Make an altar for yourself. Honor yourself. All right? It's good to be back, my vigilant owls. Stick to the skies. Peace.